Oh my god. What did we just see there? What was that? That was just, I can't get over what we just saw. I yes. Just it's my energy is just right through the roof right now. Pretty much like all of Leafs Nation. It's just like they just did that. They just did almost the impossible and they got it done when everybody else thought they could never do it. Anyway, including myself at some point. Let's be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. They did it. So happy. Unbelievable. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Seaway Sports Lounge. Today, my energy is just continuing to go right through the intro. You know what? I have just, when we all just witnessed an amazing game. I mean, at first it was down and out. I wasn't happy at all. I'm sure everybody wasn't happy with what they were witnessing. Anyway, they managed to get it done. They got it working for them, and they just took it to the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially after the second period. And you know what? We're going to go through the game like I always do. We're going to take the takeaways and all the stuff I usually talk about. We're going to go with that. But, like, just that's how you do it. Anyway, let's go with that. Let's just get right into it. So they won 5-4 in overtime again. They actually were down 4-1 at one point in this game, just to remind you. They completed the comeback and won the game. I've haven't seen this since I was 13 years old in the playoffs. Whenever Mike Foligno ended up doing the same thing and ended up winning the game against the Detroit Red Wings. Just overall, what a contrast game. That would be pretty much what I described. The first part of the game was definitely not in Toronto's favor. Toronto struggled through the whole time. Tampa snuffed them out. They just did not look engaged. They couldn't get going. Samsonov kept them in the game, which was great. He had a couple goals, but they just weren't his fault. They were just good goals that went by. Anyway, they just unbelievable. Right here shows here 37-31 were the shots in favor of Toronto. In the first period, Tampa outshot them by like Toronto had three shots to like 9 or 10. I think it was 10-4, I think were the shots. Power plays, Toronto's power plays came through tonight. Tampa got their one power play goal. We had two, so that was excellent. Penalty minutes were relatively the same. Hits were relatively the same. Toronto looked badly outplayed in the first period into the second, but then they started to get the momentum, as we'll go through in a minute. Block shots, Toronto was blocking a lot more. They were diving in front of the puck, which was great to see. Very playoff hockey style, which is what we're looking for. And then turnovers, Tampa actually started to do a lot of the turnovers, especially in the second half. They were not looking good. The momentum kind of took their legs right out from under them and they couldn't get going. We'll go through that in a second. Like I said, lots of unpack in this video. It's crazy. Like, what a game. As I said, first period, power play goal, Alex Killorn, which makes me laugh. You know, Craig Simpson hops on and starts talking about Killorn not doing anything. And this always seems to happen. I always find, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but he starts talking about a certain player, and then all of a sudden that player starts to like be active again. And he hadn't been active in 20 plus games. But anyway, I just whatever it is. So Kucherov and Hedman get the assists, and then Sergachev gets it. And like I said, Tampa looked really good in the first. Okay. Toronto couldn't get it going. They couldn't get things rolling like they were supposed to. That's what happened in the first. Second period, that's when things started to shift in Toronto for Toronto a little bit. They were playing better. They were getting into the zone time. They were starting to create chances. They were starting to put pucks on the net. First period, they barely put any shots on Vasilevsky. Second period, they started to get their legs and they started to get moving around. Pucks started to float around in Tampa's end. So Noel Chari got a nice goal from Justin Hall and Ryan Oreilly. That was great to see. Another secondary scoring. Two defensemen again with more points. That's one of the things in this series I've noticed is that our defensemen are getting a lot of points right now, which is great from these point shots and stuff they're doing. And then after that, then Tampa just got two more goals right after. Stammer got his first goal from Hedman and Perbix, and then Killorn got another goal from Brandon Hagel and Sergachev. Both goals, you know, kind of broke Toronto's back at that point because the Maple Leafs were playing better, but it just didn't. It kind of deflated the whole situation. So they went into the second intermission, didn't look good. I wasn't engaged as much. I was trying to get back into it, but I was getting, you know, just frustrated with what I was watching because I was hoping they'd play better. Then third period hits and completely changed. They got a quick goal, not quick goals, 9:44 in the period. But Austin Matthews got a nice goal really quick. It was a nice blast from Mitch Marner and Nylander, it was a really nice play, went in, and you can even see it like they were pointing out. Matthews looked confident, sort of, but he's like, okay, we got one. So now we've got through 4-2. Then not long after, power play hit for Toronto. Toronto second power play goal. It was a nice tip in by Austin Matthews from Nylander and Giordano. So I mean, so now the things are starting to roll, and Tampa's starting to lose its legs. It's starting to lose steam now. You can see that the momentum is shifting into Toronto's territory. And then about 3 or 4 minutes later, Morgan Rielly ends up shooting from the point, and just it was just another shot like he did in the overtime. And you can feel the energy coming on. Toronto was playing much better, and Tampa just wilted. It is unbelievable how much they just crumbled. I thought they would start pushing back, and they didn't. Toronto just kept pushing at them, which is a very different thing than we're used to. Normally, this team we would be the ones continuing to wilt, and we'd lose like 7-1 or something in the past. Well, that's not the case this year. Okay. This team was very different. I knew it was going to be different because of the fact of all the additions that they were having, and guys that are their big core stars showed their skills tonight. At first, they didn't know if they would, but they did. And then Morgan Rielly, Marner, Oreilly, all key guys on the guy that acquisitions and long-standing Maple Leafs were there. They did their jobs. 4-4. Game was just tied. I was going crazy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was 4-4. And then they went into overtime. Not much push from Tampa after that goal. Anyway, then we watched the intermission, came in. Toronto still had the foot on the gas in that overtime. It didn't stop. They kept going at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa had a couple of chances in that overtime. I'm not going to say they were completely overrun. They had a couple of chances, but Toronto just didn't stop. And that is the big difference between previous teams and this one. They kept going. They knew they had them. They knew they had them. Like Tampa just did not have an answer. And Vasilevsky, as mentioned in the intermission, he does not have an answer for people in front of his net. Toronto is tipping shots all over the place. And they're all going in, or a large portion of them. So just excellent all around. Anyway, power play goal. They get a power play in overtime, which is a gift as far as I'm concerned. You got to score on that goal. You have to. And sure enough, they did. And what happened was Nylander passed to Giordano, ended up getting Kerfoot. He tipped that in, and he put it past Vasilevsky, and the place just exploded. I exploded all over. I just friggin' just crazy happy. Crazy happy. I probably would have thrown out my arm at the rate I was going. The amount of cheering I was doing. Like, it was just like a huge stress relief just to see the Maple Leafs actually like pull this off. And we were all hoping they would, and they did. And that is the big thing. And that is a big takeaway right now. I'm going to hop right into the takeaways. Toronto was in it. They thought they were down and out. I thought they were down and out for a while, but they started to get going. They skated again. They got their confidence back, got that quick goal from Matthews to bring it to 2 goals. And you know what? They did what was necessary. I just elated. Unbelievable. I've never seen that in forever, like I said. And the big takeaway, Samsonov, some of the goals he let in, none of his were his fault. They were just clean goals. But Samsonov, again, outdueled Vasilevsky tonight. He closed the door when he had to. He made the saves he needed to do to preserve the tight game that it became. And then after that, when it was necessary, nothing got past him. He did the job. Yet again, he did his job, and he's eviscerating those demons of his, saying that he's a bad playoff goalie. He's not. He's getting the job done for the Maple Leafs. They now have a 3-1 lead in the series going home. I mean, yes, we've seen this script before, but I think it's different this year. They've got the killer instinct, which they didn't have, which is in Ryan O'Reilly and a few Noel Achari, all the players that they picked up, a large portion of them. And that's also giving confidence for Matthews, Marner, and especially Morgan Rielly to play the game he's playing. And that is another big takeaway. They now have the killer instinct in them. They can actually go get the job done and win the game outright, even though when they were down, which has never happened before and forever. And the thing is, too, is that the big stars also started to come to the game. Matthews got his 2 goals. Marner was rolling. Rielly was just basically doing what he's been doing the whole series, and they don't have any answers for him. Okay. Tampa does not have any answers for that guy. And you know what the big difference is? Is because it's Luke Shen. Luke Shen is playing great, great hockey. I watched him tonight and I didn't realize how good he was. Now, I remember when he was drafted, we all did. We all watched those years during the Ron Wilson years where they basically had him and they brought him up way too early. He shouldn't have been there. Anyway, they kind of eroded his confidence. He just couldn't get going and then they moved him along. This Luke Shen is a completely different person. He's a lot more like the player that they hoped he would be, even though he's much older now. And now he's getting the job done really well. And he's giving Rielly all kinds of confidence and open spaces to do what he needs to do. And he's getting the goals, he's getting the points. He's been factoring in every game so far and multiple times, not just one time, like one assist or one goal. No, he's getting multiple point games, which we didn't even see all year. So it's really nice to see. I also will give credit to Sheldon Keefe. He blended the lines tonight, which was great. The lines he had in the first period failed, they didn't work. Then he started to finally use what he had. He has all these weapons at his disposal. He started to change things around and started to play the games against John Cooper, and he ended up getting it, getting the results anyway. And then you have players like they had 1 point the goal. It was Matthews, Nylander, and Marner. Like that's a line we haven't seen very often. Well, he did that. And he got a goal out of it. So it's good for Sheldon. He's doing what he needs to do to win. And he's finally using his lines in the way that he's trying to counter. And he's not even at home. That's the best part. He's not even at home. He's on the road and he's doing it. Anyway, I'll end the video here. I'm so happy. 5-4 win. Now they go home. I mean, other game. We'll see where they go. I'm going to enjoy this. Next, I think it's 2 days. There's a break because there's something going on, I think, over at Scotiabank Arena that they can't go the next game like 2 days from now. I'm not sure. Anyway, all of Leafs Nation should be really ecstatic tonight. Just it was a stressful game and an exciting game at the same time. Like I said, it's like watching two different games. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game. I know I did. I'm a little tired. I'm a little arms a little sore from all the cheering and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, hope you had a great night. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.